guys, welcome back to Mindset Lab. So this is a place where we share tips, we share resources, and that can help maintain your emotional health and just promote your well-being. And today, our resource of the week is Francesca Blechner, who is the founder of Holistic Lifestyle, and she helps business leaders, entrepreneurs, creatives to promote a foundational health and to help them execute what they need to do without the whole chaos. And welcome, Francesca Blechner, who we have.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Thank you for coming on. How is your mindset today?
Do you know what? Today I'm feeling it's kind of like a cold, bit of a gloomy day, and I'm feeling just to rest and going into some restoration and slowing down, I think, is the message that's coming through towards the end of the year, just starting to slow down now.
Definitely. It's definitely a time for reflection as going on. So yes. I feel you on that one. So please, Francesca, tell us, what is it you do? And most importantly, why? Why do you do what you do?
Well, I'm a holistic health and lifestyle coach, so I'm passionate about working with business leaders, entrepreneurs, creatives, to help recalibrate their energy in a chaotic, fast-paced modern world that we live in, to upgrade their health. And health isn't just physical, it's mental, emotional, spiritual, our energetic health, so that we can really thrive. And then 3, to be able to lead with vibrancy, so to be able to anchor in and embody those values and those skills, so that people can really thrive and expand in their life.
Amazing. So what is it about breath work that you do, and how do you use it to promote emotional health and well-being?
Yeah, well, breath work, I mean, it comes under such an umbrella, really, but I mean, breathing itself is so important to understand about how we breathe, because breathing is linked to every single physiological system in the body, and it's also inherently linked with our emotions as well. So we can change and shift our emotions by how we are breathing. So, for example, most people are living in that fight, flight, freeze because of the fast pace. Especially, I'd say a lot of that has been amplified this year with uncertainty, with fear, with the pandemic and everything that goes around that, and so that changes our breathing and can evoke more anxiety. Our breath pattern changes. So if we can start to understand our own breath pattern, then we can start to influence how we think, feel, and how we behave. So it's incredibly important, because it's a tool, a resource that we have within ourselves.
And how do we change our breath? What is a wrong breath pattern? And is there a wrong breath pattern? Because I do know that, sometimes when I exercise, for example, when I'm in pain, I tend to hold my breath, and that's not a good thing. And I can imagine a lot of people will hold their breath when they're under emotional stress or when they're in pain. So I realize that there probably is are we doing it wrong? What is a wrong breath pattern, and how do we correct it?
That's a really, really good question. And I like to say, well, we all have a natural breath pattern, so I'm going to come back to that. And our breath pattern really almost tells a story of our life and the way that we're living out our life, the patterns of our life, to create, I would say, dysfunctional breath patterns over right or wrong. But we just need to go back to our natural state. So when we look at animals or babies, so if any of you have got pet dogs or cats, and you see, or even babies and toddlers, you see that when they breathe, their whole body breathes. They breathe from the belly. But as we become older, as we become influenced by our emotions and conditioning and social programming, and perhaps parents, teachers, authority figures to don't feel this, or don't cry, a lot of the conditioning that is programmed into society, like, especially for men as well, you often hear, big boys don't cry, and so all of these things we suppress our natural state of expression and moving those emotions through our body. And so a lot of this can get put into the subconscious mind. And I loved your example about how you hold the breath. So when we experience pain, whether physical or emotional, as an instinct, we'll hold the breath. And the reason is a protective mechanism to not feel. And so that doesn't quite get processed. Even if it's something smaller, it can be something quite monumental when you're experiencing trauma or abuse. So you hold the breath, and then that just gets put into the subconscious mind. And 95% of behavior comes from the subconscious mind. Only 5% comes from the conscious mind. So if we can start to become consciously aware of how we're breathing, then, and through certain practices of breath work where it's conscious connected breath, we have the opportunity to help integrate some of these past emotions or past traumas in a safe way. And really what that is the energetic emotion imprint that is held within the body, that is held within the system.
Wow, this is very meaty. Thank you. Is there any conscious practices that we can do to, you know, what do we sit down? Do we shift our focus? Do we take deep breaths? What is the practices that you teach, and how can we do it on a daily basis?
Yeah, well, the first thing I would do is on this call, because I know there's lots of people watching as well that I can't see. So I'd like to introduce just a real breath awareness first, to start to become aware of where the breath is. So I invite you. Do you want to do it now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So just invite everybody to sitting up comfortably, closing the eyes if you feel comfortable to, and then taking one hand on the belly, on the lower belly, and one hand on the chest. And just breathing in and out through the nose without changing your breath, just observing. And start to turn your focus inwards. So just tuning into your internal environment and into the feedback that your system is giving you. And now start to feel, if you can feel the breath, where you feel the breath moving. If you feel it in the belly, if you feel it in the chest, and which one do you feel moving first? Or if you feel both. So it might be one or the other, or it might be both. And which one do you feel first?
Belly, I felt first.
So just coming back. So you feel the belly first. So the belly, do you feel the chest moving at all?
I do, but I feel my belly more, maybe because my jeans are too tight. I don't know, but I definitely feel the belly first, and then the chest follows.
Okay, so. Good. Yeah. So when we start to use the diaphragm more, which is the muscle underneath the ribs, then a diaphragmatic breath, we're breathing into the belly, and this will help with feeling more grounded, more centered when we're breathing right into the depth of the belly. So beyond the middle belly, right into the lower belly, down to the hips, down to the pelvis. This will help. This will send a message to the nervous system that I'm safe. There isn't a threat. There isn't a direct threat. I am safe. And so then all those other physiological responses start to dissipate and balance. Then if someone's experiencing anxiety, and there's a lot of that right now with uncertainty and what's going on, and so then you would feel more on edge. So if we can just shift the breath from feeling anxiety and uncertainty and just bring it down into the belly, into the lower belly, into the hips and pelvis, pause, take a few breaths. This is instantly very grounding.
Right. So that's a daily thing that we should practice, or do you recommend just doing it as and when needed? It was a
I'd say daily and as and when needed. So throughout the day, now it's habit for me. Like multiple times through the day, I just check in with my breath. Where am I breathing? Because I used to be a bracer. My
Right.
background previously is in fitness and in training, so I used to be holding my abs in tight, but it was also a defense mechanism as well, like don't get too close to me. And so that was, my life was reflecting that, you know, oh, don't get too close to me, I'm strong, I'm independent, like I don't need any help.
Right.
But that was reflected in all of my relationships. So when, yes, I can't remember how I got onto that. So yes, I used to brace and hold everything in tight. And that's another sort of freeze response as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
so I had to train myself to practice through the day. Where's my breath? Oh, I'm going into that habit again of bracing. Why am I doing that? There is no threat right now. So then I just stop, pause, take a few breaths into the belly expands, and then I sink my weight down into the body, and it's instantly grounding. Now it's just habit. It's just,
Wow.
it's.
That's an amazing tip. And I do hope everyone wrote that down, that tip, so to do it daily, because it's really, we do need a lot of grounding, especially during these times. But you, just to wrap up really quickly, because I know it's been very short and sweet, but you have a book. You're an author.
I do, yes.
And it's called Self-Care in the City?
It is. I've got one here actually. It's called Self-Care for Life in the City. Self-Care for Life in the City.
Where can we find that for those that may be interested?
Yeah, you can buy it through my website. There are tags there. You can buy direct through me, or you can buy on Amazon.co.uk or .com as well if you're in the USA and abroad.
Okay, and I know it's for entrepreneurs and business leaders. Is that the target audience? And creatives as well?
No, not at all. Not at all. This is for everybody. So everyone, because, and I really believe that this is such a pivotal time, because we are having to return back to nature. We've become disconnected with nature, of how eating, of our sleep rhythms. So a lot of it is about that. It's really getting back into building up the foundations of our lifestyle holistically, connecting back to ourselves. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity to do that.
Thank you so much, Francesca. And where can we find you on the socials?
I'm most active on Instagram, which is Holistic Body Life with a W.
Okay, so holistic almost.
Yes, WHOLISTIC, yeah.
Okay. Guys, let's follow Francesca and get some more nuggets on there. And we can just go on her website, check her out. And those that are interested, definitely get the book. I'm definitely getting it because I'm a creative and I'm too hectic and I don't have enough time to breathe and keep life in a healthy way. So thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.